The worst idea ever tonight takes us to the NBA, where the NBA playoffs have been awful. I'll say it. Right? Well, waiting for the inevitable. It's going to be the Cavaliers are going to play the Warriors in the NBA Finals. All right. I'm intrigued about that. Everything else, who cares? But the worst idea ever tonight is believing that the NBA is better now. It's not, and it's not even close. Start thinking about those rosters of Larry Bird's Celtics team. If Larry Bird played in this era, in an era where I watched the Wizards and Celtics play 7 times up and down, 7 times consecutive fouls called. The game is an absolute joke now. You just run into somebody, throw the ball, foul. I think Bird in this era, he would average 35 points a game. And I'm not even exaggerating. He would get fouled every single time down low. And so would McHale, and so would Parrish. Now you're going to say to me, oh, those guys couldn't go out there and guard on the perimeter. You're right about that. But what's it going to take to win a 7-game series? You're going to have to make 22, 25 threes, and you don't think these guys who are Hall of Famers would adjust their game? Come on. How about Magic's team? Kareem? Who would guard him? Go through Zaza Pachulia, Tristan Thompson. Kareem would score every single time he got the ball. Now, flip side, who would Kareem guard? All right, that may be a challenge for an older Kareem towards his 40s. But I know this. Kareem every single game is going to shoot 70% from the field. Are you going to be able to go out there and shoot 30% from 3? 35%? Because that's what you're going to need to do. I know what Kareem's going to be able to do. And Magic, Kyrie Irving will guard him. Steph Curry? Who? James Harden? Magic Johnson's 6'9", 260 pounds. He would get the ball and score in the post every time, and then when you help, he would throw for a wide open jump shot. I understand the game has changed. You got the Rockets shooting on average 43-point attempts a game. I look back at the 85-86 Celtics, who I consider the greatest team of all time. In that season, they made less than 200 threes the whole year. Larry Bird, one of the greatest shooters in the history of the NBA, some would say the greatest, in that year, he made 82 threes the whole year. And then you go to the 90s, Michael's teams. Of all, those teams, they would have to make an adjustment because they were big and plotting. Jordan's team, the defense, Scottie Pippen, Rodman, Michael, they could guard anybody. All right, you can maybe have an argument with those teams of the 80s saying they're slow and maybe not as athletic. Him, not athletic, Scottie Pippen. The Bulls teams, I'm more confident about than the 80s team that would definitely beat the game of this era, where you just rifle up threes and it's lawlessness basketball, and the average age of teams is 22 years old. That's another thing when I look at the top 5 oldest teams in the NBA. Spurs, oh, they're still playing. Warriors, Cavs, yeah, you guessed it. 3 out of the top 5 oldest teams are still in the league. And at that time, back in those days, all of those guys were grown men. And what does that translate to? High basketball IQ, better basketball, smarter basketball, and a more team-oriented game. Now, the game, sure. Highlights, dunks, guys shoot just over half court. Wow. But that's not what basketball is all about. And all these fouls. I think that's going to have to be something Adam Silver looks at. The fouls just are so disgusting. Yeah, that's why there's been so many high-scoring games, because everybody's in the bonus with 6 minutes left in the quarter. They need to stop with the foul. But the errors, it's always a great conversation. Here's the hashtag the rally. Is today's game better than yesteryear? I think no chance. So the worst idea ever tonight is the NBA. It's getting worse.
Rarely am I speechless. I feel slightly speechless after that.
Yes. Well, Tim has an incredible ability to leave you speechless in many different ways.
That's true.
I do like the fact that he took a different twist, because we've been hearing that is the NBA worse having 2 unanimously better teams.
2 powerhouses.
That's not what he talked about.
Right.
Is this dominance better or worse than the dominance we saw with the Celtics?
Do you agree with him?
I do. I think that it was better basketball.
I agree with him too. If you agree, let us know at 120 Sports, hashtag the